Thank you so much for agreeing to do this discussion with me on decoding attachment style, which is the name of this podcast. We're going to be talking about a man having anxious attachment, which is not something that we generally hear about. We tend to believe that women are the only ones who have an anxious attachment, men have an avoidant attachment, but you have also been able to heal your anxious attachment more so on your own in
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I've had some input from you,
which
obviously.
is also something not easily done. And you're here to share how you've done that, how you act and react differently in your relationships now. I don't use names. If you
Hmm.
prefer to use a pseudonym, perfectly fine. We could use
Yeah,
initials for people that you want to mention, and that's all to keep everything confidential. Yeah,
we'll
thank
play
you
that by.
again. Well, yeah. We'll see
Yeah,
how that goes. I mean,
yeah,
you and I have had discussions in the past, so.
yeah.
All right, we were just talking about AI, which is a really big thing. Oh, before I get into that, since I brought up AI, you are giving me permission to share the audio of our
100%. Yes,
conversation. Okay, great.
absolutely.
Great. And this is going to be on the podcast. We were just talking about AI and the information that it's giving people, and I find it what you just said to be very insightful. So I'll ask you to let's get this conversation going by you just repeating what you just said.
Yeah, sure. It's this notion, and one of the things that kind of made me think about it was actually from social media, and it was a reel. This guy's in the car and he's talking about when do we become a society of people just ignoring each other for validation and attention? Whatever happened to just speaking the truth and saying, "Hey, I love you," putting it out there, kind of thing. And I was like, "Yeah, that's so true." Because when you're in that post heartbreak moral panic, should we say, you're in a vulnerable state and you're looking for answers you can't find within yourself, and you get to the point with your friends and family where you think, I sound like a broken record. I sound like a broken record. I'm doing my own head in here. And I think a lot of people don't know quite how sycophantic AI models are. They just tell you what you want to hear. You're never wrong. They're never going to really challenge you. And the danger zone that I was thinking is, if everyone out there now is all using ChatGPT or Claude or whatever to get relationship advice because they've burnt out their support network, or at least they feel they have. If we're all being told the same thing, like don't reach out, don't do this, don't chase, don't tell them how you feel, and all the law of attraction stuff that goes on. You've got a whole society of people out there just not being honest with each other and just holding it all in, waiting for the other person to make that move. And I was thinking, is anyone ever going to talk to anyone ever again about feelings? Because it seems to me that they're just talking to their phone and their phone's going, no, don't say this, don't do that.
Well, I mean, what I find, AI validates. It's an algorithm. It's programmed to say the thing that the person needs to say so that they keep coming back. It's business, right?
It's
They're
addictive.
business people running this thing. So
Yeah.
it's AI, and AI gathers information from humans out there.
Mm.
And there are so many experts now in the field, right? I'm
Mm.
using my quotations. Everybody's grabbing AI content and shoving it out on social media. And you could tell, like I could see the inverted commas or the long dashes. You know
Like
what
that.
social media, and the language is always really generic, nothing
Yeah.
specific. It doesn't have a personality, but not
No.
everyone's able to catch on to that. And those who are getting sucked into the AI culture, they don't realize this is a machine that's meant to validate your feelings. And the thing about us is we feel good when we're validated, and we keep
Mhm.
that it's the feeling we're coming back for, which is what
Yeah.
AI does. Now, with friends, they call us out on our bullshit. They're going
Yep.
to look at us and say, look, you keep making the same goddamn mistakes. You need to walk away from this person. This person is showing you they don't care, and that does not feel good.
No.
So we've got AI competing with our friends, and AI is this loving, supportive mentor and friend and lover and all of it. And it constantly makes us feel good. And yeah, we're losing human connections mainly because some of us don't like honesty.
Yeah.
Some of us, especially some of us who are saying the other person's not taking accountability, we
Hmm.
also don't want to take accountability. And yeah, it's becoming a mess. But here's my thing on it. Those of us who are willing to grow, we know that it comes with harsh criticisms and reflection and change. And that's not going to be the majority of the world's population because that is not how the world runs. You need
No.
some people to grow and you need some to help the others who are meant to grow, grow.
Mm.
It's kind of how I see it. But enough about how I see the world. Tell me, how have you been seeing the world as a now
Oh,
secure attached person or a more secure attached person
more secure.
and who used to be crawling out of your skin as an anxious attached?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I would not say I'm healed, but then the journey is perpetual, isn't it? It's not linear, and you're never going to be properly healed. I don't think, anyway.
And it's
Um,
never going to end. The healing
no,
never ends. It
no,
shouldn't.
no, and that is the journey, isn't it? I guess I've done a lot of reflection, a lot of looking at how I was in my marriage, which has come to an end. It's very easy, like we were saying about accountability, to just almost comfort yourself by blaming the other person. And it just isn't, that's not reality. That's not reality. I was, I was diagnosed with ADHD in 2021. So I was late diagnosed. And that definitely had an impact looking back, but it's not an excuse. And it certainly isn't an excuse moving forward. And that was part of it as well, is recognizing where those traits came in. And see, I'm doing it now. My mind's going off all over the place. So I'm thinking about this. Yeah, like even with the diagnosis of ADHD, there's an accountability there. Everything that happened before, you can kind of draw a line and go, okay, let's learn from that, you know, and then you're accountable after that. Because just because I'm neurodiverse, that doesn't excuse anything. My behavior in relationships, yes, it will impact. We haven't talked about RSD yet, but that I can tell you is a real thing, and it's the worst part of a breakup for me. That constant rumination, the constant going back over, the constant. If you get rejected in any way, if a friend doesn't invite you to something or invites you last time, yeah, it's a real thing. But it's recognizing that, and as part of that journey as well, it's going. That's me. That's something I have to override. That's not reality. I'm making that my reality when it's probably not. I read far too much into things, tone, everything. Like if I get a message and it reads quite blunt, I will take it as, oh, okay. But that doesn't mean it is. It's me doing that, and that's where I got to check myself. And looking at myself within my marriage about how sensitive I was, because that's been one of my problems, is other people's emotions, and I'm very reactive to other people's emotions, almost take it on as my own. And that's something I'm definitely having to work on. I find that hard, like interactions with my ex-wife, I will take them badly sometimes when she hasn't meant it like that. And I'm having to, and vice versa as well. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
I waffled a bit there, didn't I? I went off all over the place.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it because you know what? As someone who was anxiously attached as well, yeah, we all struggle with this. And so I think, when I was anxiously attached, I thought men had no feelings.
Mm.
And as a part of my research, when I first started doing the research on attachment styles, like, do you feel stuff? And it was to ask how they felt. We don't see it on the outside, right? And also, I'm thinking, because as a heterosexual woman dating men, I was constantly attracted to avoidant attached men.
Mm.
It's an unconscious thing where you just seek out the anxious attached. For me, they would irk the bejesus out of me. Later on,
Yeah.
I learned what that was. It was that I was seeing things within them that was reflecting the mistakes I was making. I was
Yeah.
hurting myself and I'm seeing it in them. And now it still bothers me to a degree, but now it's like, oh gosh, I know you've got the power in you. I know you're a beautiful, smart, kind, strong, deserving human being. You can get out of this. So the arc has changed from, oof, you're reminding me of emotional weakness in me to, I could see your strength and I know you can get out of it. But to talk to a man who has been dealing with the same anxious, attached thoughts and feelings, that is rare in our world as we hear it on social media. I'm not saying
Yeah.
rare in our world overall, but we're not hearing a lot of it from social media. So it's wonderful that you shared so much. I want to dig a little deeper into what does that feel like? What are you constantly thinking, ruminating about? What are those exact thoughts?
Hmm.
Let's
Well,
use one of when you and your soon-to-be ex-wife sends a message to you and you think that this is blunt or harsh or hurtful.
it feels
What?
like
Mhm.
it feels like an attack. It feels like an attack on something I've done, and that's definitely something. I'm still working on that. You know, I can take things as an attack, even though I don't react now. I'll respond. I'll take a minute and respond. I mean, sometimes depends on how tired I am. If I'm stressed, I might snap back on something. But yeah, it. I think it's kind of hard to quantify, but I guess I always felt, and not just with her, just with other relationships, I can easily feel attacked and get very defensive,
Mhm.
and that's not good. It's not good for me because you end up getting quite anxious about it, and I guess it goes back to that not good enough, like it's a failure of communication or whatever it is. I forgot to do something. I didn't do that. I didn't communicate properly, and you take it as yeah, it's like a failure, I suppose, not good enough, you know. And
Yeah, what's
yeah,
interesting is what you're describing there. Many will listen to this and they'll say, but that sounds like an avoidant attached person, not feeling good enough, feeling defensive, feeling attacked. What we want to remember is that every human being will feel all of these emotions. It's just how we respond and react when we have it. And anxious attached persons can also shut down. They get very quiet, and that comes from a fear of, yeah.
then that's another thing I used to do. Shut down in arguments, just go quiet, totally withdrawn, and it becomes all consuming, you know. And I think when it comes to like attachment styles, it's kind of been a bit of a buzzword in social media, and it's made out to be so pigeonholed and so black and white, cut and dry, and it just isn't, is it? As we know, we've had these conversations, and I've learned more about it, and it's more like a scattergraph, I would say, isn't it? Of like, yes, you might be predominantly anxiously attached, but you've got all these other bits because every single person's upbringing is different. There's just so much nuance in everyone's experience, everyone's trauma. You can't just pigeonhole someone as, oh, they're like this is how they're going to react. And I think that's been like it is a dangerous thing. And when you've got these AI models, which are supposedly trained on attachment styles, they don't allow for nuance and personality and individual trauma and individual bonds between that person you're actually attached and dismissive avoidance, say. That's great. You could probably roughly get some, I can't think of the word now, get them in the same room kind of thing as to how they're going to react. But you can't figure out how they're going to sit next to each other because there's too much going on in that relationship that's different from someone else who are like the same as those attachment styles.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And that is why they say psychology is not an exact science. Because we're
No.
dealing with human beings.
Mm.
No human being is exactly the same as the other. And then you get the question like, oh, so how do you come up with attachment styles? Again, it's how we react and respond when we're uncomfortable. That's it.
Yeah.
It's a baseline of it. If a person tends to run, feel overwhelmed, shut down, and can't come back and communicate,
Mm.
they're leaning more avoidant, and it's emotional maturity has something to do with it. more and more people are talking about the healthy masculine energy and feminine energy within us. Cultures play a part,
Mhm.
religion plays a part. Everything
Yeah.
plays a part in a human makeup. So it's not a case of, oh, you're avoidant attached. You have an avoidant attachment, which is another part of the language that we've got to be careful of. We don't ever say the person is a fever. We say they have a fever, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
avoidant attachment is not the entire human being. It's just a part of their personality,
Yeah.
as is
Yeah.
long or curly hair or whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of interesting as well. There's a lot of content gets pushed, and that's the thing. We talk about algorithms as well. What gets pushed on you? It's, in my opinion, quite dangerous. Where you click on one video, you like it because it resonates. Everyone's talking about this kind of thing anyway. It shows you more of the same. And when it comes to, particularly like, oh, we call them dismissive. You've got dismissive avoidance and
The fearful
what's
avoidant.
fearful avoidance.
Mhm.
There's a lot of content that just says like avoid fearful avoidance, avoid them, and it's like, well, that's a whole bunch of people we're talking about, and you're using this black and white
Yeah.
formula to discard them. It's like,
About 27%
uh,
of the population.
yeah, what? So 27% of the population are just not worthy of anyone's attention or love. Okay, that sounds a bit harsh, and you're making
Generally
content.
coming from the people who want to be loved.
Yeah, yeah,
Generally coming from the people who have felt abandoned and discarded. And that's the hypocrisy of it. It's quite amusing. We let's talk about me as anxious attached for a
yeah.
second. Oh my gosh, was I angry? Was I angry at an ex for not stepping up and doing the healing work so that I could get what I want out of this relationship?
Mm,
I didn't know it was that way back then. I didn't know that I was just trying to get what I want to make me happy. Was
yeah,
I in therapy? No. Was I reading up? Sure, but I wasn't using the tools. I wasn't trying to understand them. So now I'm angry at you for abandoning me. And now I'm saying to you, you should be abandoned. Everyone should leave you. And I get
yeah,
it. The anger, it's valid. I get it. I've been there.
yeah.
But it doesn't make sense. We don't avoid the avoidance. When we do that, and you and I have spoken about this, I really do believe that these two keep clashing so that we could learn something from the other and grow.
Mm,
Relationships, I believe if you're in a relationship and it's not helping you to grow, it's not inspiring your growth, it's not a
yeah.
relationship you should be in. And I would imagine that this is how your healing journey started. You must have been inspired. Somebody must have beaten you down so hard that you're like, okay, I got to look at me now.
I think I don't know. I think like my ex-wife she had some valid points, and other parties who have come into my life have made me look at myself, since her. And yeah, obviously there was something there, this, especially, around the anxiety that would make me shut down. And it's like, what the hell's that about? Where's that come from? I've got to do something about it. I can't just ignore it and hope that the next time I meet someone, it's going to be different. Why should I inflict that on someone else? It's
Mhm.
my responsibility. I mean, I've always done a lot of therapy. I've always been a big advocate of therapy. I don't think it's quite as accepted in the UK as it is in the States. I mean, it's getting better. I'm always very open, especially with my clients. I think I'm fairly good at reading people, and I can tell when someone's going through some stuff. So I'll open up about myself a little bit, and then they'll open up, and then we'll have a conversation about, like, I'll say, have you ever sort of spoken to anyone? They're like, oh no, I can never do therapy. I'm like, dude, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. Just that I don't have the tools to help you there. And I've done my thing where I've gone off at a tangent again. But no,
Okay.
about therapy, about always like therapy, because I've always been interested in like human psychology, because it doesn't just help me understand me, it helps me understand the other people and reading people, and it just helps the human experience, I think. I've always looked at it as like gym for the mind
And
therapy.
it is,
Yeah.
or for the emotions. I find though what what happens with a lot of people is that they learn so much about themselves and through psychology, learning up, reading these self-help books and psychological uh, books in psychology that they find. And what tend to happen is they develop so much empathy for others, and they don't realize that there's also a need for boundaries.
Hmm.
So learning about human behavior, that's great. Right. One of the things that I learned in psychology school is you have to have boundaries, because if you're training to become a psychologist, you have to know
Hmm.
not to take on their pain. Your job is to help them through the pain. And in relationships, we tend to think that, okay, I know so much about my partner, let me have some more empathy. And so when they behave in ways that hurts us, instead of saying, whoa, this isn't okay, a boundary, we say,
Yeah.
no, I understand their pain. I know where they're from. Have
Yeah.
you
Totally.
struggled with that?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I, I would say I used to be a chronic people pleaser. I'm working on it, 100%. Setting boundaries was a weakness of mine, without a doubt. I was the guy, and to say I'm not anymore is would be a lie, but the guy who avoids conflict and keeps the peace, and that's not, that's not an honest place to be. You abandon yourself, and that's where anxiety and depression can start to sprout up, because you're not living to your true self. You're playing a character that that helps everyone else but doesn't help you, and then people start taking advantage. I'd say one of the things I noticed when the breakup started, like, what, 2 years ago, and in that period since to then and now, the friendship dynamics, the people that I would kind of, or at least I felt that I was there for, weren't when I was the one who needed the help. And that's what I mean. I was giving too much of myself. And then when you're in trouble, oh right, okay, so it was transactional then. Okay. And so that was a big learning lesson. Yeah. So that's something I'm definitely trying to be more. No can be a sentence.
It's a
And
beautiful
try not to
sentence
over
too.
explain. Try not to over explain, and just don't say no and then give a reason, a big long, just to say no, I can't,
Yeah.
or no, I'm not available, rather than I would always give someone a big reason why, or then perhaps I'd move plans to accommodate that person because I'd feel bad, all those kind of things.
Why the big reason? Why did you go on and on about your reason why you can't do something?
To justify it to myself that I wasn't a bad person for letting someone down, I suppose.
Mm.
The thought of letting anyone down, because I don't know if it was like a time of life in the 80s when you grew up, and it was think of other, put others before yourself. It was all that kind of mentality. And that's kind of done some damage. It's like, yes, of course, be kind to others and think about how your actions impact other people. But you
Hmm.
don't have to put them first, because you abandon yourself in the process. And that's going to come back and bite you in the ass when you're in your 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Christian home, and I love the teachings of Jesus. I still follow a lot of his teachings. And you grew up in the home in an Indian culture, and it's the same thing, just give and give and give and turn the other cheek, and
Hmm.
But then as I grew older and continued to study some of Jesus's work, when he got pissed off, he got pissed off. He upturned, like when he went to the temple and saw them taking the tax money from the poor, he just upturned all the table. The guy
Yeah.
had boundaries. There was a story that I've shared with some of my Christian clients who have a hard time setting boundaries. There's a story of Lazarus. Do you know that story? Lazarus
I,
dies, and the message is sent to Jesus. He was sick. He was really, really sick. Send a
okay.
message off to Jesus. Do you know that story?
I'm not sure I do, actually. I probably will when you start recounting it. I'll be
Okay.
like, oh,
So, yeah. So Lazarus is really, really great friends with Jesus. They're best of friends, and Lazarus is sick. Jesus gets the message that he's sick, come and heal him. But Jesus is busy. He's doing something out there. And he's like, yeah, I'll come. And then a few days after, 3 days, for those of you who are biblical scholars, you'll excuse me if you're listening to this. A few days, maybe 3 days, Jesus
Yeah.
decides, okay, he shows up and they're like, well, where were you? He died. And Jesus is like, okay, fine. He goes up, heals Lazarus, and Lazarus gets up and everything's okay. But really, what we don't see there, a lot of people listening to this story or reading about the story, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, why couldn't Jesus just get up and just go right away and leave what he was doing? It's his friend." Like, and that's what we do. We
Hmm.
abandon the thing that we're doing to rush
Yeah.
off when someone needs us because we don't know our value
Hmm.
in these relationships and we don't know our power. Now, the story of Jesus is the guy knew his value and his power, and he knew he was needed. What he was doing right now was a priority.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, not that Lazarus and his family were not a priority. It's just what I'm also doing now is a priority. And a lot of times when we get into our relationships, our personal relationships, the relationship, not even the relationship, the person that we're in the relationship with becomes the priority
Hmm.
instead of us remembering that there's so many departments of our lives that needs to be a priority
Yeah.
at the appropriate time. And that's why many of us cannot, we try to protect the relationship and we forget that there's so many other areas that need to be looked at. And then we just don't have a boundary.
Yeah, and I think that really resonates because that was certainly me. There were numerous occasions where I'm not sure she would agree, but from my recollection, there were numerous times where I cut what I was doing short or
Mhm.
wasn't present because I was too worried about getting back or doing, or making sure that she was okay.
Yeah, rushing off to
I was,
Lazarus.
exactly that. Yeah. And that bit was eminent to me without a doubt. That was probably one of the the pillars of the breakup because I ended things. It was me. But
Mhm.
when you look back, you can see I can probably see where the cracks all started.
What would you
Yeah,
have done differently?
that's hard to say because it would also depend on the nuance of her behaviour with my behaviour changing. So you don't really know. So I find that hard to answer. Other than I probably set more boundaries, but then that could have led to a whole different like set of circumstances. Yeah, I'm not in control of how she would react.
Okay,
So I
now
don't.
let's say what would you do differently in a new relationship?
I do my damnedest to set the boundaries to start with,
Mhm.
and just much clearer communication. Much clearer communication.
What do you think
Um,
that was not clear about communicating then that would be different now?
the people pleasing, 100%. The not putting myself in any way first. At least that's how I saw it. That's how I see it. And I'm still going to struggle with that. To be honest, I'm still going to struggle with that. I can't say, oh yes, my immediate next relationship, I'm going to go right. This is my red. Obviously, it doesn't work like that,
Yeah.
but there's still going to be that pull to want that person to like me for what I can offer,
Mhm.
rather than just what I offer being enough and they accept it. I try and show them all the time, look, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. It's just, and then that becomes expected, I suppose. And then you can't go back because if suddenly go, actually, I'm not doing that anymore because that's not okay. And that's a lot harder to go back on than if I just say, start as you mean to go on, I suppose.
Yeah. I like to look at it as, going, you see a job and they're applying, they're hiring, and you
Mm.
want a position in this company. You know about the company to a degree, you like it, you want a position there. And what you do is you study the company,
Yeah.
right? This is the new person that you're dating. You're learning everything about them, and you
Yeah.
start to adapt in yourself to what they would like. So in all of it, people say it's manipulation. Human beings manipulate
Yeah.
all the time, every day. But my concern is manipulation with intent to hurt, right? That's different. Now, you're going for the job interview, you're going to say the right things. You're saying what you know the company wants to hear, and that's what we do in dating. However, also like a beautiful painting, right? If the person doesn't know what went into the making of the painting, they're not going to be able to appreciate it. So at
No,
interviews, we give surface level talks. We don't show them our depth.
no.
Okay. If I show someone a painting and they don't know anything about art, they'll just look at it as like, oh my gosh, why is this $12 million? This is just a piece of crap. It's just paint. I could do this. But if you
Mhm.
know that it's from the 17th century and they had to crush blue flowers to get the blue paint and get it to that texture, you might have a different appreciation for it and the different layers. Now, the problem with us humans when we're dating someone is we don't show them the layers because we want them to like us and we think that what made us up, setting boundaries,
Mhm.
is going to push them away.
Yeah,
But when you are able to set a boundary, when you're able to say, no, this doesn't feel good for me, I won't be able to continue with this behavior. What
yeah,
you're telling them there is that you've spent all your life building up the resilience, the courage, the strength, the inner self-value, self-respect to be able to say to this human being, oh no. And that, like a painting that you know about, is so incredibly attractive. Suddenly, you understand why it's worth $15 million or whatever it is.
because it has value.
And that's what you want. And people don't, we're so scared to say, you know what? I've been through shit when I was 5 and 6 years old. So now I could say, no, you don't get to treat me that way.
Yeah,
They play it all down and we can't set boundaries.
no, sounds like me in a nutshell up till now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard for us to see how valuable we are because we don't spend a whole lot of time with ourselves. We spend
no,
time with other people. Even when we're not with them, we're constantly thinking what to do to make them happy.
yeah. I
Now tell me,
think,
what are 5 things that someone could do in a relationship to make you happy?
oh, I don't like being put on the spot. My
Mm,
mind goes blank. I get grief for this all the time. 5 things I expect: consistency, and I know that's just a bit of an umbrella term, but consistency in the way someone shows up, not hot and cold. Can't deal with hot and cold. Just consistent behaviour, so that you just calm down because you know what to expect. You know that that person's behaving a certain way. I can't be dealing with someone going quiet for no reason for a long period of time. And I know that might sound odd, but I've been told that my communication is quite good, as in if I know I'm going to be busy or someone messages me, it's something that requires some thought. I always message back going, hey, I need some time to think on this. I'm not ignoring you. I'm at work. I'll get back to you later. And if it's a long time, I'll message again, just saying, hey, not ignoring you. But I expect that kind of behavior back, sort
mhm,
of thing. Because it just, me being anxiously attached, if someone just goes completely quiet for 12 hours, it's like, you okay? Then you got the urge to double check. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be doing that. So it's about respect, I think, and
mhm,
that's something 100%. When it comes to, I'm quite a touchy feely person. You know, I'm quite like touch is a thing for me. Grew up in a house where there wasn't any of that. So when if I'm not getting that reciprocated, that makes me anxious
mhm,
and holding little touches on the shoulder. So someone who can show like affection without me leading it all the time.
mhm,
Uh, I've come up with 3 more now, haven't I? I suppose someone who's interested in me as a person, not just on a surface level. Though there's got to be someone that I can relate. It all sounds a bit simple, doesn't it? But I think I've got some quite simple needs, really. Yeah, just I don't even know what to say now. I've just gone completely blank.
Simple
um,
needs. I'm stuck on you saying you have simple needs. I remember as an anxious attached, I thought so too. I thought I'm pretty easy to please. But again, it came from a place of not yet knowing who I really was.
Mm.
And,
Maybe that's it.
the depth of me. I don't have
Mm.
simple needs. But the difference now is that I've realized that no one else can fulfill my needs. My need to keep learning.
Yeah.
That's not a simple need.
No, and
That's like read a book every week, not a simple need, but no one else can do that for me. So how does that translate for me in a relationship? I need someone who would appreciate my need for time and space so that I
yeah,
wake up in the morning and I have that quiet and I could do my reading.
yeah, that would be one of the things for me because like we were talking earlier, I was out this morning, did some filming. First thing, up at 5:15 and out
Hmm.
filming. That's important to me.
Hmm.
That time to do that. So I need to be able to do that without having to keep checking my watch. But that comes into communication as well. I, yeah, I need my own space. Not a lot of, to be fair, not a lot, but
Hmm.
I in my job as well as a tattooist, I never know what time I'm going to be finished.
Hmm.
So my understanding that I'm not a 9 to 5 guy who's always going to be home on time.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I need my own space. I have my own friendship circles. I'm not a particularly jealous person at all either. Like we had a chat the other day, didn't we? And it was fed back to me. Oh, you're quite a secure person, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, I think I am. And then we had a chat, and you were like, not quite. And I'm like, okay, good point. But yeah, as far as like in relationships goes, I'm not someone who's ever going to be like, you can't go out dressed like that. I'm not that sort of thing. Is not
Yeah.
doesn't bother me. It's like, wow, you look amazing. Have the best night. You
Hmm.
know, and I don't need to hear from you all night. I'm quite secure in that way.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've lost my train of thought again.
Oh,
This
that's
is
all
what
right.
I do.
That's
This is
okay.
what I do. I
Well, I've been going through some changes too, and that's a part of it, losing my train of thought. But yeah, I feel like when we're healing the anxious attachment, and I've been asked about it, what are a few first steps that you want to do? The first thing you need to do is date yourself. You have to know who you are and what you want and be goddamn honest about it.
yeah,
And it's going to change. As long as you realize this is who I am now and this is not who I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you start to see that, wait a second, I am going to change. And
yeah,
then you can appreciate where the other person's at. You'll know that, when they do something 5 years from now, you're not saying or upset thinking, oh, but this who wasn't who they were when we met. Sure, that makes sense.
yeah.
We
Because
all
no one's doing
change,
exactly. Yeah, I
right?
mean that's a when you said about what have I done. One of the things, yeah, I've lived on my own now for what 6 months, completely on my own, and that's undoubtedly hard. I didn't go out and start dating like straight away or anything like that. Not in the last, not since I've been out and that, because there was another relationship after my ex-wife, and I'm talking about since that broke up, sort of thing.
Mhm.
So I haven't dated, didn't turn to drink or drugs or anything like that. There was part of me that just was just like, no, I am going to go through it as a challenge to myself, as in like I want to be able to look back and go, yeah, I did it. I went through it myself not without help. Obviously, we've spoken, and I've done other forms of therapy, but I wanted to feel it because that's something that gets talked about. People don't feel it; they mask it. They go and distract and get into new relationships, do this and do that.
Mhm.
And I was kind of adamant. They're like, no, I'm gonna feel it, and it's
What
horrible.
did it feel? What did it feel like? What did you go through? And while
God,
you were going through it, what were you tempted to do?
I mean, it felt horrendous. I mean, I lost a lot of weight, but anxiety was sort of through the roof because you're unlearning a future you thought you had. Because you're not just grieving relationships, you're grieving what you thought for years was going to be, and it's like
I don't know what my future holds. And that was really scary. It's starting to feel more like, well, it can be anything, and that's that detachment. So it's not even just about relationships, it's about the direction you were going in, which in a way was carried, which had baggage of anxiety and anxious attachment. So actually, maybe my new path won't be like that because that doesn't have to come with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of thinking about that. So, and I still don't know what I want to do exactly. Do I want to be doing my current job in 10 years' time? No. So I'm trying a few different things. I've got back into painting again. I'm getting out my camera more than I've done in a long time. Forcibly spending time with myself. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, don't just sitting on your own, come out, make sure you surround yourself with people." And it's like, yeah, but that's still not sincere because you're still distracting yourself with doing that. You do have to at some point sit with the feelings, and they're not very nice. I'm not gonna lie. It can feel really bad at times. I'm a hell of a lot better than I was. I'm significantly better. Still have the moments, of course you do, but it's less. It's more
What do these moments look like? If I'm
just,
if I'm a fly on the wall, what am I seeing
yeah,
as you're going through these moments?
tears, and just heavy. It's heavy. I'm lucky that like where I work with the girls I work with, we're all very open about sort of stuff. We have like a thing in the morning. Someone comes in and they're not feeling great. We go to the kitchen, shut the door, and it's like, right, what's going on? We'll talk about it and get it all out so they're not carrying it all day. But it's still hard when you've got clients in the chair and you've got and your head's thinking about something, and then when you leave, obviously you drop the mask and go home, and it's just heavy. But one thing I've definitely learned is you don't hold it in because it makes such a big difference. Once you let it out, it's an emotional purge, and it's crazy that it's still seen within guys like as a sign of weakness, and it's like, well, not really. We all do it. It's kind of like it needs to happen. It's biology. It needs to happen. That's why we cry. Yeah. So yeah, if you're a fly on the wall, you probably would have seen me at some quite late moments. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if I was a fly on the wall, how do I see you getting out of it?
You see me having structure and routine again. I think that's key. And I've always had this kind of mindset of like, do it anyway, even if you're feeling bad. Because one day, I think is it a Rilke? I think it's a quote that's like, feel everything, the beauty and the terror, because no feeling is final.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. And when you come out of this, which you will, do I want to be right back at the start, or do I want to be further down the road and come out of it still ahead? And that's what I always try and do. Is even if I'm, not feeling it, do it anyway, because yeah, I don't want to hold myself back.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's where you get resilience. It's not free, is it? So
No, it just comes from failing and failing and failing and failing.
yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
knowing it's not the failing, it's knowing that you're going to get up.
yeah,
Every fall
exactly.
you're going to get up. And so you become fearless at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
What advice would you give first on how to approach healing for someone who's anxiously attached and feel like they haven't started on this road?
Stay away from AI. Stay away from AI. But seriously, I think there's a shame. There's definitely a like an element of shame in like feeling anxiously attached, like you're a nervous little mouse or something. And it's like, well, no, it's just a state that you're in, and you can get out of it. It doesn't. It doesn't define you. That's the thing. I think some of these, when we talk about attachment styles, that they become such strong labels. It's like that doesn't completely define you. It's just a way of measuring how you may or may not act in relationships and in your own life, and you can change that. It's not. It's not. I think there's a perception it's fixed. That's it. That's the way you are. And that's it. You can't get out of it. It's like, no, I don't agree with that. kind of own it a little bit and be curious. I think be curious, not judgmental of yourself. As be curious, not judgmental, as Ted Lasso says.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I think that applies to yourself. Yeah, so get curious as to what it is that's holding you back, that's making you be prepared to dig deep and don't be afraid of it, because once you start to understand, you can see the patterns, and then you can make the changes. Talking to people like yourself, massively helps. Yeah, don't be afraid of therapy. God, that can it can be your best friend. But it's like anything, like we were saying, Gym for the Mind. If you're going to a personal trainer and you want to get like athletic and tone, you're not going to go to a guy who looks like a power lifter, because he's going to put you on the wrong program. It's not the right person. So it's the same with therapy. It's you still got to find the right person for
Right
you,
fit. Yeah.
the right fit. Yes, and I think don't be if you're going through a breakup, don't be afraid to talk to a relationship coach, because I don't want to make the same mistakes again, and no one else should either. It's about growth, right? It's not about putting people in boxes. It's about individual growth.
Yeah, finding your own manual.
Yeah, and I think that therapy helps, but it's still, the onus is still on you to make it work. And yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah, I find with therapy, funny enough, I had my therapy session just before you and I started this. With therapy, there's still many therapists who don't give tools for whatever the reasons are. And your session might be 45 minutes or an hour. And that's great. It's a time to share and have, someone else's perspective, or they may ask you questions to help you dig deeper questions that you don't think of on your own. Not something AI will be able to do for you. I mean, I've been in therapy for about 7 years now. So, yeah, a 7-year relationship twice a week kind of thing.
Yeah,
So it's someone who knows me a lot more. But
yeah,
the thing is, you need to do the work when you're out of the office.
yeah,
And that's what a lot of people don't get. So, two things that I found with therapists and therapy. One, it takes a while to find the therapist for you. It's like dating. You don't go out on the first date and decide, I'm going to get married, because it's
no,
a relationship. You're
yeah,
signing up to share with this person.
yeah,
Not maybe a third thing. The other thing is, people don't ask their therapist questions. You are going to be sharing your entire life with this person. You get to ask them questions. Questions like, why do you do what you do? Have you ever dealt with a case like this before? And
yeah.
what were the results?
It's a great
Right.
point. I don't think I've ever asked a therapist a question.
Yeah, why do you do what you do? It's
Yeah.
something
Right,
that
we're going to stop right here. I'm going to interview you right
take
now.
some notes. Yeah. Have you dealt in a case like this before? I remember when Larry and I went to therapy, we I did ask, have you dealt with interracial couples before, and the religion that we were in?
Yeah,
So I think those are big questions, because you want to know that this person will have the know-how of moving you from where you are to where you want to be.
yeah,
Ask them about what their program looks like, a timeline. What is it they're expecting of you? Lots
yeah,
of questions. It's an interview. You're interviewing someone for your life, just like you would with a date, which we don't do. And then you have to do the work when you get out of therapy. When you get
yeah.
out of that hour session, you now have to stick with it.
Hmm.
Replay what was said in therapy session, allow your brain to marinate that information. It will come up with perspectives. You want to take
Yeah,
this a little further? Add meditation to it.
yeah,
That's a powerful
yeah,
way.
yeah. I'm going to show you something.
Hmm. Oh, you've got the photo. Well,
Did
our
it?
audience doesn't know what that's about. You want to share?
Okay, so I was tasked with putting a photo of myself when I was a child on my phone as my screensaver, as my like younger self, as part of a task that you set me to like always look at the younger self and how would you talk to your younger self, and to remind yourself when you're in these situations, what would you be telling them in a nutshell. That's
Hmm.
right.
It's
So,
also it's been great for the reason I share this with clients and anyone who will really listen is because when I was learning to love myself, and I think in the psychology world they call it reparenting or inner child healing, that kind of language. When I was learning to love myself and give myself what I was hoping other people would give, love, affection, attention, the yes, the okay to do something. I found a picture of younger me and placed it as my screensaver. And I would look at her and I'd ask, do you want to do this? What do you want?
mhm,
Right. And I would close my eyes and listen. What would the younger version of me say?
yeah.
And then I started to do it with people. This person wants to hang out with you. How do you feel? And there were times when I could hear a younger version say, no, that person's mean.
Hmm.
Now, the task really was to honor what that younger version said.
Yeah.
And that's where I started to develop boundary setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
if I
remember I
could,
saw.
if,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
boundary setting. So if I could say no to someone and honor my feelings, automatically what has happened and what happens now is if it doesn't feel good, I'm not doing it.
Mhm.
If it's a conversation, it doesn't feel good. I know I can't do it right now, but I've got to come back to it. So I ask for time and space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really helped me. Yeah, having that younger version. And
Yeah.
eventually, when you get to that point, you could get rid of the younger version because you say, you know what? I've healed you, little girl. I'm good. There's no need to keep going back
Yeah.
to you. Now it's time to look at the older version of me and ask,
Yeah.
what would that person say?
Yeah. Yeah. I, I'll be honest. It's like I found it uncomfortable. I don't know
Mm,
exactly why, but when I see the photo of myself, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm
huh.
curious about that. Yeah, because I mean, it might be guilt because I used to have my dog on there, and and it's a case
Mhm.
of like replacing my dog with a little picture of myself. But
Oh,
I don't think it's that.
that's even more painful. Are you saying that for some reason the dog had more value than you?
Quite possibly. I mean, it's a
That is
dog,
so
isn't it?
interesting.
But we could go deep on that. But yeah, yeah, taking him off the screen to put a picture of myself on, that was the main reason I didn't do it for a long time. And
Yeah.
then when we had our last session, then I was like, oh, I haven't done it. I still haven't done it. Right, I'm going to do it right now.
But that is so interesting because I
Mm.
mean, it really shows how we put ourselves on the value list or priority list.
Yeah.
People do it with their kids, and that's okay. I mean, my thing is, yes, you find your manual, right? You look at your priority list. You look at we talked about the boundary pyramid. You
Mm.
set yourself wherever you see your health, your peace of mind, your job, your family, friends. You have to set what's most important to you. But I
Yeah.
strongly believe that you have to be the most important person. You have to be number one priority because without your health, happiness, and feeling confident and good about yourself, you can't give to anyone.
No, and that's definitely something I struggled with.
Yeah.
Put myself first. Yeah. That's that has been.
Oof, I'm sorry it was a struggle to swap out your puppy picture for your own.
It's not that bad. It was just
It's
a little bit like
it's
it
it's it's where I'm
is.
sitting. It's pretty bad.
Hey.
I mean, to feel guilt, I understand it's like a
Yeah.
little bit of sadness, but to feel
Mm.
guilt, whew.
It might be because he doesn't live with me, so
Yeah.
I don't see him that often. But I do see him fairly often. But so it could be something like that, as
Well, like
in
in relationships, we need to know that a picture
mm,
does not bring the person closer. They're still
yeah,
there. The
yeah,
person is still there. The
yeah,
puppy still there. And that's
yeah,
the thing that we struggle with anxious attachment. If we're not constantly hearing from a partner, then they're no longer there. If they disappear for 2 months, like, ooh, where are they?
yeah, yeah.
These are not the things that shows how much you love another being. A photograph, a text message, a call.
True. Yeah,
It's not.
no,
And really the photograph that you're using right now, it's just to teach you to put you first and love you and honor you.
yeah, yeah. And I'm getting there. I think I guess it was quite good in a way that we've had quite a gap between the last station and the ones before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've made progress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've made progress. Well, I know I've made progress because I'm here and in this place. You know, I'm moving forward and things are happening. So
Yeah. And we
yeah,
really don't know how we've healed until we're met with a challenge. Kind of like you're
yeah,
going to the gym and you're lifting weights. You don't know how strong you are until you lift something stronger than you
no,
used to, right?
yeah.
So that's how you know, and you'll be surprised, you'll deal with things differently and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I know I wouldn't have handled it this way.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed. How was it? Recently, I reversed my van into someone, and
Mhm.
normally that would have been a proper like tirade of beating myself up over it, and I was just pretty calm about it. I was just like, oh well, leave a note, and I was like, that was interesting. I didn't react how I normally react. I just kind of got on with it and
Yeah,
haven't sweated the small stuff as much.
yeah.
I would say, yeah,
I am very happy for you. I know what it feels like to heal to this degree, and oh, it's good. It's good. So I'm very
yeah.
happy for you.
Oh yeah, and I really appreciate your input and especially actually inviting me on the call as well because I was kind of like, oh okay, what me?
Of course
Yeah,
you.
value.
All right, we've got to work on your value. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
absolutely. But it's
Yeah, and
getting
I'm
there.
sure this is going to help someone because there are a lot of people out there who don't like feeling alone in this. We're all struggling, and I feel like by sharing our stories and our struggles and how we're managing life and everything that comes with it gives hope.
Yeah, we're not told that these feelings that you have after breakups, regardless of your attachment style or anything, it's normal. It's not
Mhm.
you. You're not alone because you do. You question. You question yourself late at night when you're ruminating and just sort of in your own head over things. You question whether it's normal, and you got no one to really bounce it off. So yeah, you need to hear other people's experiences. You need to hear it like this,
Yeah,
raw and honest, because
yeah,
I really hope it does resonate with someone that there's someone out there who's feeling the same. And it's just like, yeah, you can get there and it's normal. Feeling like this, feeling those moments where you just can't stop thinking about a person because of a breakup and when you're in, that rumination loop and you just don't feel like doing anything. Your friends are asking you to come out. You don't feel like starting a new hobby. You don't feel like getting up to do it. That's normal. That's not
yeah.
unusual, but it does pass. And there's loads of stuff out there about like, motivation comes after action and all that. It's just true. It's like, you're not just going to find the motivation. And I've just started doing cold plunges as well. Now,
Yeah.
everyone's talking about cold plunges. It's like, it's this wonderful thing. And I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like a load of something to me. But I have started doing it. And yeah, in those moments, it does. And I found that those days where I am feeling anxious or just down, everything's on top of it. When I do go to the gym, I find that doesn't help me. There's this perception that going to the gym helps everyone. No, it's
It
not.
generally helps the avoidant attached.
Yeah,
It
for
I
me,
find
no.
I
Don't
find
touch the
through my
sides.
work and research it doesn't help the anxious attached because that's
No.
where they think the most. And they're like,
Yeah,
no, why am I doing this? I need to get out of here. I don't.
exactly. And it's talking about things like that helps as well, because there'll be these anxious attached people out there going to the gym because everyone's saying, "Oh, get to the gym, it'll help you." Going, "No, this isn't helping." In those moments in between the sets, and you're sat there thinking, you're in your own head. And but yeah, what does help, I find, is a cold plunge, because when you're in that water, there is nothing you can think about as it's cold, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. I can't feel my feet. I can't feel my feet. Oh my god, oh my god. How long? How long for a minute? Oh, and you get out, and yes, that physical state, it really has almost like shocked you out of
Mhm.
it a little bit. And I have found that has really helped, and it does immediately change your state of mind. That you got no choice because it's such a drastic change.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I enjoy it
Mhm.
because it's cold, but I like the feeling afterwards. That instant change from how I was feeling before it's coming out.
Yeah.
So
Let me just put a really quick disclaimer here that this
Okay.
This method,
Yeah.
this cold plunge method, if you're thinking of trying it, you've got to check with your doctor. This is not us saying that this is a thing you have to try. I
No,
mean,
no, fair enough.
with
Yeah.
this internet and social media, oh my gosh,
Yeah. And
number of
also I know that,
disclaimers that you got to drop out.
and particularly with women, I believe it's not always as good an idea
Yeah,
because
that's what I've
it's,
actually noticed
yeah,
online
yeah,
recently. There's a lot of research that says that women should not be doing them. Well, I mean, I'm not worried. I don't do anything cold.
yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
not, it's like, sure, you guys could knock yourself
Well,
out.
to be fair, my experience of pretty much all women, they don't like the cold. So it's
Oh
just
God.
it's just
No,
my experience. And
no.
so I don't think there's any danger. Most women probably listening are going, yeah, it's not for me. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
you,
not
you
not for
can
me.
keep that one. You guys can keep that one.
And there's scientific proof that says we don't handle cold the way men do. We're just not
I-
built that way. But yeah. Anywho, thank you so much for this. I really, really
My,
appreciate it. I
my
will buzz
pleasure.
you the next time I need one, or if I feel like there's something about you that if someone reaches out, they generally do and ask, oh, that person that you had there and they talked about this, can you have them come back and elaborate more?
Yeah,
I
happy
will let you
to.
know. Great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye.